Raider Nation, what is good? It is a good day to be a Raider. 1-0. Let's talk about it.
Jacobs is on his way. The Raiders are going to win this game.
Let's go.
Then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.
What is good, Raider Nation? It's your boy Raider Alex back with another live show. It's been a while since I did one of these, but I had to just hop on real quick. I wanted to talk to you guys, the nation. I wanted to talk to you guys about the Week 1 victory over the Denver Broncos. This was definitely a hard fought victory. I didn't expect it to be a very easy victory, and I'm not gonna lie. We're gonna get deep into the nuances of the game. Later on, I'm gonna wait for a little bit more people to jump into the chat, but there's multiple different times in this game that I did not feel good about how the way the game was going. There's multiple different times too where I kind of thought to myself, I think we might have just lost the game right here, but but yeah, man, crazy victory. Like I said, we're gonna wait for a little bit more people to jump into the chat. And also, before I go too deep, I'm just making sure everything should be good. But just let me know if the audio is all good and the visuals, stuff like that. But let's get to the chat real quick. Robert Pena, salute to you, man. Day 1 subscriber. He says Raiders. Yes, sir, man. Shout out to Alpha Kasi Raider in the building. Salute Raider Alex. Hey, thank you for pulling up, man. We got Charm City 410 in the building. He's saying salute to Robert Pena as well. We got Andrew Castro in the building. Just win, baby. Yes, sir. And honestly, that is the motto of this game because, like I said, was it a pretty victory? No. I mean, there's a lot of things we're going to have to work on moving forward. But, hey, look, at the end of the day, we got the victory. That's been the motto for the Raiders for the longest time. Just win, baby. I mean, good teams, they find a way to, sneak out victories, to steal victories when, they're not playing their best brand of football. And that's what the Raiders did today. I don't really care. I mean, last season there's a lot of games where you could make the argument that we played a hell of a game, that we should have won the game, but we didn't make the key plays in the fourth quarter to seal the victory. And today we were able to do that. Jimmy Garoppolo made some huge plays. And at the end of the day, you are what your record says. So I'm just very happy that we got the victory, a divisional victory at that as well. I mean, I understand it's only week 1, but I mean, right now the Raiders are number 1 in the AFC West, as everybody else has lost so far. But Charm City, salute Afakasi. Saying audio is all good, perfect. Robert Pena, secondary needs to be addressed. Yes, man, because I mean, especially the first half, we could not stop a nosebleed. As soon as Russell Wilson was, stepping back, I was like, they're gonna get something big down the field, and part of that too was I wasn't very impressed with the defensive line in this game. Besides Max Crosby, I mean, we know what Max Crosby can do. He had that one, drive where he single-handedly, got the Broncos to like 3rd and 35 or something like that. That was crazy. But yeah, I wasn't overly impressed with defensive line. And I think with this defense, that's going to be very crucial for us. I mean, moving forward, because I mean, the offseason, we made some nice moves here and there at the linebacker group and stuff like that. But really, when it comes to this defense, I don't see the linebacker core and the secondary really being our strength. The secondary, Jacorian Bennett overall, I mean, up and down game for him. I mean, it's his first game in the NFL, so I don't really expect him. I didn't really expect him to get an interception, two interceptions, to have a lockdown performance. But what I did like to see from him was, he was a tackling machine out there. He As soon as the tackle was needed to be made, he made it really. And also, Charm City says a lot of bonehead penalties as well. Yes, and that's actually one of those too was where Jacorian Bennett, it was like third and short right, and Jacorian Bennett's able to come up and make the tackle. And I think right after that, I mean, I think it was Jerry Tillery that had a false start basically, and that that kept the drive going for the Denver Broncos. And but yeah, like you said, I mean, there's way too many penalties. Yep, exactly like you said. There's way too many, and that's why I said, I mean, this game was. There was multiple different times during the game where I was like, oh, like I think we lost this game. I mean, one of them was when I think it was like kind of late in the third quarter. We had the ball basically at first and goal from the 1 yard line. Before that, Devontae Adams had a PI called, and after that, Jacoby Myers as well. I mean, we have the ball at the 1 yard line. I think we were down 13-10. At that point, I thought it was really big. Like, yo, we got to punch this in. I mean, first and goal from the 1 yard line. But we weren't able to do that. We'll talk about that a little bit more because Jimmy Garoppolo definitely did have a big part in that. But yeah, I did not like to see that. I mean, that definitely reminded me of just of the Raiders of the past 4 or 5 years, the red zone struggles. But but yeah, also another key penalty that almost basically lost us the game was that roughing roughing the kicker. We at that point I thought we got a good, really big third down stop. We did everything right. We got off the field. All you got to do is just secure the punt and then we'll get the offense back on the field. But just boneheaded penalties like that. Like I said, I mean, we definitely can't keep doing that moving forward. If so, I mean, like I said, there's multiple different times where I thought we should have lost, but somehow, some way, the Raiders were able to steal this victory late in the fourth quarter. Raider Syndicate, he says he's in this place. Nation just won. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And salute to you, man. I think this is the first time I've seen you in the chat. If you haven't done so, make sure to subscribe. But also, I mean, I want to get you guys' feedback on the game as well. I mean, what were you guys' overall takeaways from this game? Like I said, to me personally, I think the Raiders essentially stole this game. There's definitely a lot of times where I thought we were going to lose, but what I'll say is in the fourth quarter, we definitely stepped up in a big way. And for that, I definitely got to give a big shout out to our new quarterback. I'm just calling him Jimmy Garoppolo from now on. Jimmy G. Jimmy Garoppolo. What I'll say about him is, look, I understand he's not the best quarterback. He's not an elite quarterback. One thing about Jimmy Garoppolo too, I mean, even if you ask a lot of, San Francisco 49ers fans who, they've seen Jimmy Garoppolo, as their starting quarterback for the last 4 or 5 years or whatever, one thing they always told you was, one flaw from Jimmy Garoppolo is typically, every game or so, he usually has one, maybe two plays where you're just kind of like, he leaves you scratching your head, kind of like, what was he thinking there? Well, why did he make that throw, I guess? And, he definitely had, to me, there was two different instances where I saw Jimmy Garoppolo, I guess you could say, not make the best decision. The first one was, the Raiders are trying to, hit the Denver Broncos deep for a deep pass play, which we didn't have a whole lot of in this game. And they tried their little flicker, which we did quite a bit last year. Basically a trick play, try to get the defense off guard, try to expose them deep, but the Denver Broncos did not fall for that at all. Patrick Surtain, I mean, he was right on Devontae Adams, but Jimmy Garoppolo threw it to him anyways. I mean, the reason I didn't really like that too is because not only was the coverage really good on him, but there was safety help over the top. So as soon as he threw that, I cringed. I was like, uh-oh. If Patrick Surtain's able to, tip this pass, towards the inside of the field, there's a good chance there's going to be a turnover. Luckily, that did not come to fruition. It just became an incomplete pass. But that was definitely one where I was just like, that's a bad read. I mean, I understand if he's one if it would have been one-on-one coverage, I understand that. I mean, Devontae Adams is a hell of a player. I mean, sometimes you got to take those shots, but that was definitely one of those head scratching moves from Jimmy Garoppolo. And the second one of I'm sure that you guys are all expecting is inside the red zone. Like I said, this is one of the moments where I did not feel very good about the game. I was like, oh. I thought it was going to change the game, right? I thought it was going to be a key turnaround for the Denver Broncos. But the Raiders were down 13-10. We have the ball at the 1 yard line, first and goal. Like, yo, let's just punch this in with Jacobs. Let's get a touchdown. Let's go up 17-13. Unfortunately, Jimmy G mishandles the snap, and luckily he was able to recover from that. But that happens, and I think after that, quote me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure it was Jermaine Illuminor who had a false start. Now, the Raiders are like, second and goal from like the 10-yard line, and then after that, Jimmy Garoppolo does another one of those head scratching moves where he had all the time in the world, but just there was really nothing wide open. And I guess the biggest issue I had with that throw too was there's a lot of traffic inside the red zone. And not only that, he threw it to a running back. He threw it to Amir Abdullah. Once again, if like Devontae Adams is there, okay, Jacoby Myers is there, then, you got a much better shot of him making that type of play. But to throw it to Amir Abdullah right there, I mean, I didn't really like that. But what I will give Jimmy Garoppolo credit for on that is, I mean, I did like the leadership traits that he did show. I mean, after that, he went on the sideline and let you physically saw. He said, "Okay, that's all me." And that's one thing you do like about Jimmy Garoppolo. Well, let's get back into the chat real quick. Shout out to my guy Horkis. His salute, Alex. Hey, salute to you, man. Thank you for pulling up. Charm City, that scramble by Jimmy was so clutch. Yes, man, that was like I said, and that's why I'm calling him Jimmy Garoppolo because I mean, that's one thing that I did really like from Jimmy Garoppolo today. That guy showed that he has some cojones out there. That guy, he definitely played with a bit of like swagger. He's got that moxie in him, and one thing, and I don't want to make this uh I don't want to touch on the subject of our previous quarterback, but basically, let's just say this: the past couple years, that's the one element that this offense has not had for the longest time, and that's the ability for the quarterback just to run for a first down here and there. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo isn't, he's not a Lamar Jackson type of athlete or anything like that. Just really the difference with Jimmy Garoppolo is this guy, he doesn't hesitate. As soon as he sees that, he just goes for it. And that's why he was able to get the first down. Not only that, on the opening drive, he also got a big conversion using his legs. I mean, the guy, say what you want about his durability, but I think he's a tough motherfucker. I mean, you can see out there for him to run up on that scramble and take that hit on the head. I mean, that's not an easy thing to do. Most quarterbacks would not sacrifice that much, especially in week one, which I do love. I did really like to see that because this is one of those, it was on the road, a divisional matchup. Like I said, it was a gritty game. It was a lot of rain. It wasn't an easy game. There's going to be games like this throughout the NFL where you just need your quarterback to kind of bail you out sometimes, and kind of show this team that he's the leader, and he basically showed that toughness aspect that I think we've kind of been missing at the quarterback position. But yeah, that was one thing that I really did like to see from Jimmy Garoppolo. Raider Syndicate says, yes, this is my first time in this chat. What's good? Hey, man, like I said, salute to you. Welcome to the channel. Make sure to subscribe as well. Lord Rashida says, salute Raider Alex. Hey, salute to you, man. Thank you for pulling up in the building. Casper says the past 20 home openers for the Broncos, they are 17-3, better than 19-1. Let's go. Oh, I mean, their past home openers. Yeah, I mean, yeah, probably. I mean, I do remember the Raiders. We beat them in that 2019 opener, but that was at the Oakland Coliseum, not at Mile High. So, but yeah, I mean, that was it was definitely not an easy matchup to win. The Raiders showed a lot of To me they showed me a lot, even though, like I said, it by far was not the most perfect game. But then again, it's week one. I mean, most teams aren't going to show their best brand of football. There are a lot of stuff too that concern me as well from this game, because we're going to have to clean that stuff up, especially going on the road next week against the Buffalo Bills. I mean, needless to say, the Buffalo Bills are a perennial AFC contender. Uh, Over there as well on the East Coast, matchup is historically has never been it's never been a easy matchup for the Raiders. Historically, they've been really bad at those games. So, there's a lot of things we're gonna have to clean up. But like I said, good teams find a way to somehow, some way get the victory, even though you're not playing your best. And today the Raiders by far, yeah, there's a lot of things that didn't go our way for us, but somehow we were able to get the victory. I mean, it's pretty funny too. I mean, I made a video basically saying like the three keys that I thought the Raiders had to do to win this game. But looking back at it, the Raiders didn't do any of those things and somehow still got the victory. I thought a big thing was we're gonna have to get the run game going with Josh Jacobs, but to my surprise, the run game was non-existent this game. I mean, we were lucky to get 1 or 2 yards per carry. I think Jacobs had like 20 carries for I can't let me double check. Jacobs had 19 carries for 48 yards, 2.5 yards per carry, 0 touchdowns. So, needless to say, we were unable to run the ball at all, and that definitely affected our offense. But yeah, Robert Pena says, I'm a defensive guy. I would still like a killer linebacker. Hey, I'm with you, man. I definitely think that's a position we never really have addressed in a big way. Don't get me wrong. I do like Robert Spillane. He's a good under the radar type of signing, but he's not gonna, he's not that killer linebacker that you're talking about. So, hey, salute to Kevin Lurker in the building. He says, where we won where we most likely could have lost. I'll take the win. Hey, I hear you, man. At the end of the day, just win, baby, as the motto goes. I'd much rather win a game where you say we didn't necessarily play our best brand of football than play our asses off, but be very competitive in the game and somehow lose the game. So I'll definitely take that. Jorge says, Alex, what do you think of our defense against their banged up wide receivers? I mean, the defense, like I said, there's a lot of things I did not like. The biggest issue that I saw is the defensive line. To me, really didn't really impress me. Besides Max Crosby, Tyree Wilson was barely on the field, which I can understand too, because the guy only played 12 snaps against the Dallas Cowboys. And then also too, it's difficult because I mean, throughout the whole offseason, when I've been talking about this defense, certain things that I was getting excited about. One of the things too that I didn't account for was that defensive end Chandler Jones was gonna, have that bizarre situation that's been going on this whole week. Which, I mean, I guess we can touch on that real quick, but it's just a super weird situation. One of the things I really liked about our first round pick, even though, mind you, me personally, I wanted us to take Jalen Carter, but that's neither here nor there. I thought Tyree Wilson was still a good pick. I mean, it could still definitely work out. And one of the things that I was really excited about was you get a young defensive end like him. Maybe he can, around mid-season get the vast majority of the starting reps on the opposite side of the Max Crosby. And then basically what that would allow Chandler Jones to do is basically you can limit his snap count a little bit, let him be a little bit more effective because he's not a 3-down defensive end anymore. But now with his situation, I mean, obviously we knew he wasn't going to play. It's really weird, but it's really bizarre what's going on with that. It just kind of came out of nowhere. It seems like this whole situation has been going on for a while as well. I mean, and that's another thing too. It's not a good situation when you got him posting like screenshots of messages between him and Josh McDaniels. And not only that, this morning he posted a conversation that he had with Mark Davis. I mean, I'm sure there's something in their contract. I mean, they're professionals. That's something you're not supposed to do. So I don't know, man. I have no idea what's gonna happen with that Chandler Jones situation, and that's it kind of frightens me because this defense, our linebackers aren't the greatest. The secondary, I like the secondary, but at the same time, I mean, we're really undersized at the cornerback group. Jacorian Bennett, I did like him, but he definitely was picked on quite a few times in this game. He's a very handsy player as well, so he's gonna have to learn how to try to try to not get so many penalties. Um, Overall, I thought the kid had a pretty good game. I mean, he was excellent. He was excellent when it comes to making tackles. I mean, that guy was a tackling machine. And with Jacorian Bennett too. I mean, a lot of times he was right there to make a play. He was in a good position to make a play on the ball. You get a little bit handsy. I mean, one of the first calls, I don't know, it was kind of a ticky tack call, but I thought what they were gonna call was he got a face mask, very early on that rep. So I definitely want to know what you guys think of the defense, but I will say the defense is starting to concern me because if that defensive line can't be dominant, then I think it's going to be a long year for this defense. Um, the one thing I will say about this defense that I really liked is we were really good when it comes to tackling. I mean, it wasn't just Jacorian Bennett. We did a good job. I mean, in certain situations where the defense just kept everything in front of them, and they were able to come up and make the tackles. And that's what you love to see. I mean, the Raiders the past years, I mean, they did absolutely terrible with that. And this is just the little things that can really help you out in the ball game. You miss a tackle. That's the difference between giving up a first down, letting them continue the drive, letting them move the chains, and potentially, forcing like a third down or getting off the field on a third down, right? So, that to me that was the most I guess you could say that the thing I like the most about the defense this game, but there's definitely a lot of things that are definitely concerning. We'll have to see if we can improve on that. And ultimately, too, I mean, if Chandler Jones isn't going to be here this year, then Tyree Wilson is going to have to step up, and he's going to have to step up fast. But I see that being an uphill battle for him. Robert Pena, I miss Woodson. Hey man, I hear you, man. It's not every day you get a player like Charles Woodson, but Lord Rashida says Diablo looked improved from last year. He had a nice goalie type of play where he swatted the ball down in the red zone, and he also sniffed out a running back screen for a tackle for loss. Yeah, I remember that exactly. I mean, he for a second I thought he almost got the interception. I saw it hit his hands, but yeah, he swatted it down, and then yeah, he made a really good play on that screenplay. So, I mean, Diablo. We'll have to jump into the film too. That way I get a little better analysis of what I think about this defense. I'm just basing on how I saw it. My instant reaction. There's a lot of things I didn't like about the defense, but I'll have to, watch the all 22 film to see what players, did well, what players struggled, what areas we need to improve on. But yeah, I mean, that was the first half was definitely rough for us when it came to trying to stop Russell Wilson. I mean, the guy looked sharp, and I didn't really expect him to look that good in the first half. I thought he was gonna struggle just a little bit. I thought both offenses were gonna struggle a little bit. Man, I thought it was probably gonna take them a drive or two before they start really, start cooking. But I mean, both of them had opening drives. The Raiders got on the board real quick, and then after that, the Broncos were able to combat that. And also, too, another crazy thing. I mean, Sean Payton. I mean, I don't know what you guys think about this, but the guy decides to start the game with an onside kick, which, luckily enough, we were able to come up with it because for a second it looked like they recovered that, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be one of those games, right? But that was definitely a very gutsy call from him, but it didn't pay off. So Kevin Lurker says he's ending his career. Yeah, he's talking about Chandler Jones, and that's really how I see it. I mean, honestly, as soon as all that the story was developing, I really was. I had a feeling it was gonna get released. I had a feeling it was gonna be Antonio Brown 2.0. Out of nowhere, we're gonna get the news that the Raiders have parted ways from him. I thought maybe we're gonna get the conduct detrimental to the team sort of I guess it's not necessarily a loophole, but I thought something like that might have happened. Um, yeah, it's really bizarre what's happening with Chandler Jones, and just aside from the football aspect of how that affects our team. I mean, also like at the end of the day, he's a human being, man. I mean, he's not that old either. He's like 33, so it's kind of scary. Well, it was definitely kind of scary, man. And you hate to see stuff like that, and I hope everything is well with him. Um, if he has to let go of football to focus on his mental health and his personal life, then he definitely should do that. But like I said, that just came out of left field for me. I did not expect that, but the good thing was, I was kind of scared about that too because I didn't want the Raiders, such a big game week one. If we would have lost this game too, I mean, it's going to be uphill battle for us. I mean, we got Buffalo after that. We got after that we got the Steelers at home, then the Chargers. I mean, it's not an easy road these next three games. So if you would have lost this game, I mean, there's a chance we could maybe go to 1-3 or 0-4, and I don't think this team is built to dig ourselves up from a hole that deep. So Ryan says Wilson wasn't that slow off the line in college. What happened? I mean, me personally, when I saw his tape, I always thought he had a slow first step. I mean, I don't know what you guys. Let me know what you guys think. But me personally, I've seen this from college as well. And that's another thing. Like I said, with Tyree Wilson, physically he's a monster. I mean, just on his physicality alone, sometimes he'll be able to create pressure on the edge, but stuff like that. His first step, he's gonna have to develop. He's also gonna have to learn, how to use his hands more effectively. He's got long hands, so if he can learn how to use that effectively, use that to his advantage, to his leverage, then that'll be huge. And he's also gonna have to learn how to do some pass rushing moves because he can't just rely on the bull rush. You can't be predictable in the NFL, and especially get sacks and key situations, be a game changer for us like Max Crosby has been. So we'll just have to see what goes on with him. But Nate Hobbs had a lot of great individual tackles, and yes, that is true, and that is one thing too that I liked about this defense. I mean, last year we primarily used Nate Hobbs on the outside. And then he did miss quite a bit of time due to injury, but I didn't really like the move. Putting him on the outside. I just think he's like the slot cornerback position for him just feels natural. I mean, and especially because of that, he's a really good tackler. He's really physical. He's really good in run support, and I really like seeing him in the slot. So far, the way we started with our cornerbacks, having Corian on the outside, Marcus Peters on the other hand, and having Nate Hobbs in the slot. I really like that. Jacorian Bennett, up and down game. It's his first game. I didn't expect him to dominate. Marcus Peters, I mean, had an okay game out. Like I said, I'm going to have to watch the film to double check everything. But he did have, and as we touched on earlier, we had a lot of boneheaded penalties. A lot of penalties like, we're shooting ourselves in the foot. A lot of times those mistakes will literally cost you the game. And one of them was that too. I mean, he had a holding call, and that was when we should have had a turnover. We should have had a turnover. Russell Wilson was scrambling. He coughs up the football. The football's on the ground. I was so excited when I saw that. I thought a key was the defense needed to get a turnover somehow, some way, but that was a race because of that penalty. But yeah. Shout out to 808. He says, Himmy G with a first down slide to seal the game. Exactly, man. That was big, man, because if that was third down, wasn't it? It was like 3rd and 7. If we don't get that third down, I would have been nervous. I mean, if we kick the field goal, go up 20-16, like I said, I wasn't super confident about that defense. If we would have gave them, I mean, they would have had no timeouts, but still, I mean, this defense was definitely worrying me. And Jimmy Garoppolo made the play of the game with the game on the line. He did what he had to do to seal the game. Didn't even let the Broncos, didn't even give them the opportunity to try to come back into this game. So, yeah. What y'all think? Jacoby straight after that hit. Oh yeah, oof, that was Loki. That was pretty scary because that was a big hit. And like I gotta say too, I'm not saying the Denver Broncos did this intentionally, but they had two, hits, with the crown of the helmet and everything. First on Jimmy G, and then on Jacoby Myers. So the officiating they gotta watch out for that. I mean, if that would have been the Raiders, I feel like one of our players would have been ejected, but that was a pretty scary hit. I mean, it was a big hit, and then after that, you saw the TV camera like pointed right at him, and like he was like on the ground, and his eyes were like wide open. He wasn't really moving too. I was like, oh crap, man, that was definitely a scary moment in the game. I mean, I hope everything is okay with him. I mean, he'll have a concussion. I mean, that's something we'll have to keep an eye out throughout the week too. Hopefully, he's going to be available for week 2 because I mean, let me know who you guys thought was the MVP of the game. Who would you guys give the game ball to? To me, it's tough. I mean, Jacoby Myers was it? Jacoby Myers or Jimmy Garoppolo? I don't know. Jimmy Garoppolo made the play of the game, but I think Jacoby Myers overall had the better game. And look, shout out to the offense too. Shout out to Josh McDaniels too because he came prepared because the Denver Broncos, the one thing they were going to do was they were not going to let our star wide receiver Devontae Adams beat them like he did last year. With that walk-off touchdown, just a dominant performance. They were gonna bracket him on every single play. For the most part, Patrick Surtain was following him around the field on every single on every single rep. And one thing I do really like about Jacoby Myers is the Raiders have a legit number 2 wide receiver now. Last year with Mac Hollins, I mean, he's cool and everything, but he's not that guy. He's not Jacoby Myers. And one thing that Jacoby Myers showed us is, if you wanna focus your entire game plan on just stopping Devontae Adams, or I should say neutralizing him, because you can't really stop him. I mean, the guy still had like I think 60 or 70 yards, but you're gonna focus all your attention on him. Well, guess what? Jacoby Myers can hit you with I think he had, let me double check. He had 9 receptions, 81 yards, and 2 touchdowns, which is absolutely huge. I just love that fade route that Jimmy Garoppolo threw them in the red zone. So yeah, I mean that's a huge thing for this. It's a huge thing for this offense. Hey, shout out to you, my guy, NorCal Raider Jesse. Thank you for pulling up, man. Salute to you. Good to see you. Lord Rashida says facts. Compared to Max, Tyree's first step is so slow. He needs to train with a sprinting coach to get the ball quicker or something. Yeah, I agree. Definitely something he's got to work on. 808 says Marcus Peters got stuff arm like a motherfucker on one play. Got me like, bro, the Masterson penalty against the punter. Yep, that was the one. I was like, oh, it's a wrap, bro. I didn't necessarily say for sure we're gonna lose, but I was like, oh, it's an uphill battle. And I expect more from a guy like Luke Masterson. I mean, he's still young, but to me, he's always seemed like a smart, high IQ football player. And you can't afford to do that. Come on, like the game on the line like that. I mean, that's a huge. I mean, it was a big third down stop too. Like, we got the defense is already off the field. Like, let's just get the ball to their offense and let's move forward. But shout out to Loco Raider. He says, Raider Nation for life. Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. Good win for us. Yeah, man. It's a huge win for us. Want to know top of the AFC West division? Yes, sir. We currently in first place. I mean, everybody else lost. I was watching the Chargers game a little bit too. That was crazy. That was a super that was a really high scoring game, and that's gonna worry me a little bit too. Week 4, LA Chargers. I mean, we're gonna have to do something about the defense. I mean, if not, it's gonna be tough to stop these guys on defense. Kansas City too. Like, I understand they struggled tremendously last game against the Detroit Lions, but Travis Kelsey is a big X factor. I mean, you don't got Travis Kelsey out there. I mean, yeah, your offense is going to look completely different. I don't. I mean, let me know if I'm wrong on this, but I don't think his injury is that big. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if he's back week 2. So, these offenses are pretty high powered in the AFC West and just the AFC in general. So, we're gonna have to see what goes on with the defense. It did look like they were head hunting. I mean, Sean Payton is their head coach now. Oh yeah, I mean, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, the bounty gate thing. I mean that's true, man. I mean they had 2 penalties like that. The refs got to do a little bit better job, protecting our players, especially our quarterback. I mean, I will say, I mean they called the flag, so I can't really say too much on that. But you guys get what I mean. And just in general too, there's a lot of I feel like there's a lot of penalties on this game. They're throwing the flags a lot. But something else that we can touch on too was the run game. The run game, like I said, was non-existent. Josh Jacobs, and I'll double check the all 22 film to see why exactly were we unable to run the ball. Look, I assume it's going to be a combination of 2 things. First, I mean, we do got to give the credit to the Denver Broncos defense. I like this is why I thought it was going to be a tough matchup too. I mean, their defense, they're always good. I mean, year in and year out, they have a very stout defense. Um, but then again, I mean, last year we were able to run the ball very effectively on them. And even if you would have told me Josh Jacobs wasn't gonna have a big game, I still would have expected him to have. What did he have? He had 19 for 48. Like I would have thought he would have got at least 70 yards or something like that. But getting 2 yards a carry was not good. So look, I hope this does not continue, because if we don't got a run game, it's gonna be an uphill battle for this offense. Now, one thing, give a shout out to Jimmy Garoppolo as well, because everybody always said, Jimmy Garoppolo, if he doesn't have a good run game, he can't get it done. Well, I understand it's just one game, but he was able to get it done today. And really, I mean, uh, when it came to the third quarter, I was like basically ready to scrap the running plays, because we were just way more effective throwing the ball. And definitely this year, I think our passing game is going to be a lot better. Like I said, having Jacoby Myers be a true number 2 wide receiver on this team is absolutely huge. Also, too, I mean, I'm still waiting to see what we can see from Michael Mayer in the passing game. I think it's also going to take a little bit of time for him to get more adapted to the NFL. Also, another thing that I was surprised too, Hunter Renfrow. I don't think he had any receptions. I mean, I was expecting him to get a little bit involved, but nothing from Hunter Renfrow. I mean, I hope that could change. Hunter Renfrow could really, be a nightmare for opposing defenses. Like I said, you got Jacoby, who can, do his damage. You got Devontae, he's him. And then, out of nowhere, you forget about Hunter Renfrow, who's a very sneaky wide receiver. So, we'll see what goes on there, but run game was non-existent. One thing I also got to say, and let me know what you guys think about this too. Josh Jacobs, he didn't look explosive out there. He looked a little bit slow. I don't know. It's it wouldn't be a shocker. I mean, for him not to be available throughout training camp, I mean, it's gonna affect him a little bit. That's personally why I didn't see that same. I understand last year was a contract season, so it's different, of course. I mean, you need to secure that bag, but compared to how I saw him last year, he looked different last year. He was explosive. He was hitting that hole hard. Really, that was the most like explosive and athletic I've ever seen Josh Jacobs, and I didn't really see that this game. So hopefully it was just, I guess you could say, a fluke. Maybe just Josh Jacobs has to get a little bit more into the rhythm, get a little bit more, snaps, get a little bit of that rust off, get into full football shape. And, hopefully it's just because the Denver Broncos defense is that good, because I think the Raiders really need to continue to run the ball effectively. Especially too, because, if you can't run the ball effectively, then it's definitely going to catch up on you. I don't want to see Jimmy Garoppolo have to throw us back into the game every single week. I mean, if we can have a balanced offense, that's where Jimmy Garoppolo could be really deadly, I think, in this offense just in general. So. Kevin Lurker says, "How many people thought we would be in sole possession of first place week 1?" Yo, I did not think so. I'm actually not surprised the Chiefs lost to the Detroit Lions, though. I kind of, I saw that potentially being an upset, but yo, hey, I'll take that, man. First place in the AFC West is always nice. Charm City says their run defense is tough. Yeah, yeah. I mean, just in general, that Denver Broncos defense is always stout. I mean, it's never easy to move the ball on them, and they got Vance Joseph back. I mean, when it comes to the defensive mind of the game, I mean, he's a really smart. He's a really smart defensive coordinator. I mean, he's a former head coach. I mean, that's a big plus for them. But yeah. Yo, are you watching the Cowboys and Giants game? Right now, no. Man, I was watching it before I got on. They're up like 26-0, aren't they? So, like, man, I ain't gonna watch that. Watch the Cowgirls smack the New York Giants. But and is it me, or is it just every single week one is every single week one Sunday Night Football is always the Giants versus the Cowboys? Is it just me, or that's one thing I've always noticed. I was just about to speak that game. Yo, how's that game going? I mean, I assume Dallas is still dominating, but you never know. Maybe the New York Giants are starting to crawl back into that game. And then what's his name? Darren Waller's out there too. So Josh was laughing out there a little too much. You talking about Josh Jacobs? I don't really see him. I didn't see him laughing, to be honest, but I might have missed it. I assume you're talking about Jacobs though, but if that's true, I mean, yeah, I don't want to. I mean, I'm sure you guys are all thinking it, but for you to hold out and demand the money, which don't get me wrong. I mean, that's what he should do as a player, especially at the running back position. You got to protect the financial side of your career, but you can't be out here making pounding the table for you to get paid and then have a down year. If he has a down year this season, I don't think he's gonna be back next year. Which either way, I do kind of see it being an uphill battle for him to be on the roster next year, just because I wouldn't be shocked. Don't be wrong, Josh Jacobs is a great player, but I wouldn't be shocked if they end up going a running back this year in the draft. But we'll have to see. Way too early to talk about that. 808 says Hooper's catch was clutch. Yo, seriously, man, how did he come up with that? That was absolutely crazy. I mean, it hit the ground and everything, but um, I didn't see any replay that showed that he might have bobbled the ball, going to the ground. And luckily to the Raiders and the Jimmy Garoppolo were smart enough to quickly get to the line of scrimmage, just run the ball real quick, because you don't want that to go to a review, and you never know. Maybe there's an angle we missed where he maybe he did cough it up. But shout out to Austin Hooper, man. That's one thing I like about Austin Hooper. He's just a solid tight end. He's not gonna, he's not a top 10 tight end in the league, nothing like that. But he can run block, and he's a reliable, dependable option. I think our pass blocking is just better than our run blocking. That's interesting, because last year I definitely thought it was the other way around. I thought our run blocking was a lot better than our pass blocking. Look, every year is different. Maybe that's how it'll go this year. I think I didn't really see I guess a great improvement for our pass blocking, but the one thing that happened was Jimmy Garoppolo gets the ball a lot quicker, gets the ball off a lot quicker than Derek Carr does. He's got that quick release too, so he's gonna make your offensive line look a lot better when he goes through all that. But me personally, I would like to think our strength when it comes to the offensive line is the run blocking. But we'll have to see. I mean, like I said, Jimmy G with that quick release will definitely help out this offensive line. Charm City says last I saw it was 40-0. No way, man. I'm about to check this real quick. That is absolutely crazy, yo. What is up with the New York Giants? Or is the Cowboys really that good? I mean, we'll see. I mean, the Cowboys always choke. I mean, honestly, I've always thought that the Cowboys was like I mean, you look at their roster; they actually have a pretty damn good roster. You would think that they might be able to make some noise, but they. Oh my god, yeah, but you were not lying. 40-0 early in the fourth quarter. That is absolutely crazy. So, yeah, I'm glad I'm not watching that. That's crazy. I've seen JJ Green a few times, but that's just him. Yeah, I'll have to look back and see, like, I guess what is he grinning about? I mean, um, we'll have to see. But I love that catch. I thought for sure they would take it away. I mean, initially I kind of thought that because, like I said, I mean I was like, how did he come up with that catch? But I mean, I mean, there's no replay that showed that the ball came loose. But you never know. Maybe they would have overturned it. But definitely a very clutch catch from Austin Hooper. Hey, shout out to my guy Dominique Five. What's up, Alex? What's up, man? Good to see you. Just talking about the clutch victory from the Las Vegas Raiders, which I mean, that's one thing I'll say too. I mean, the offense, in the fourth quarter they showed up. Jimmy G showed up. Um, we made the plays that we weren't able to make last year. Last year was the other way around, right? We would get these big leads, and then out of nowhere, second half, the offense, can't move the ball at all. We the 3-and-outs. And then the most important, drives, we weren't able to get things done. But Jimmy Garoppolo was able to, he's able to get a quick touchdown drive too after we were down at that point 16-10. Then we go up 17-6, and after that we were able to sustain the league and sustain the lead. And after that, Jimmy Garoppolo was able to seal the game with his legs. So, I'm really that was something I really like to see, a quarterback actually using his legs when we absolutely need it. And one thing too that we are gonna have to improve upon in the upcoming weeks is we got to hit them with the deep ball. And let me know what you guys think about this too. I mean, yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo usually doesn't throw the deep ball a whole lot, at least in the Kyle Shanahan system. But I mean, you do watch some film, and he definitely does have the ability to throw the ball deep. Just the thing is that I don't see him being a guy that's going to throw the ball deep a whole lot. But really, for this team to be most effective, we have to have, at the very least, a competent run game. We just can't be running for 2 yards a carry. And also, we're gonna have to hit them deep, at least one or two times during the game. That way, if you can hit them deep with Devontae Adams, and this is a guy who was inactive too, Trey Tucker, which I don't know, that worries me a little bit. I was hoping he could at least be, um, a part of this offense, especially when it comes to like pre-snap motions and just having that speed, the threat out there. But just in general, we're gonna have to hit these defenses deep. That way, you can make them play honest. That way, they don't put so many people in the box. Play up so high because with the dink and dunk, and then primarily we're just gonna run the ball. They'll come up a little bit, but you're gonna have to make them pay down the field. And really, we didn't really see the offense target any receivers deep really at all. Just that one Devontae Adams on that flea flicker, which, like I said, he was covered. There's a safety help over the top. That was a ill-advised throw, but yeah, definitely something we're gonna have to address. Shout out to L Brown Holio. Nice. I like the name. He says, "I thought our run blocking was horrible." Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell from the TV angle, but I would assume that's what it was. I mean, it didn't really look like there's a whole lot of holes being opened up for Josh Jacobs. You combine that with the fact too, I didn't really think I definitely don't think Josh Jacobs is up here when it comes to his physical, like football shape and stuff like that. He looked a little bit slow to me, just not as explosive as JG that we saw from from last season. But yeah, well, when that all 22 film comes out, I definitely want to look at how the O line performed. Why weren't we able to run the ball effectively? Definitely want to check out my guy Jimmy Garoppolo. Like I said, I was very impressed from him. If he keep playing like this, man, I'm gonna have to cop me a Jimmy Garoppolo jersey. But yeah, I think everyone in the West that lost were favored to win too. For sure, the Broncos were. I mean, they were a 3.5 point favorite. The Chiefs definitely were. I don't know about the Chargers, but I wouldn't be shocked. It says defense needs to tackle better too, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think, but I think the opposite. I mean, I personally saw I personally saw that the defense actually did a really good job when it comes to those open field tackles, especially Jacorian Bennett. Which shout out to him. I was definitely a little bit surprised too when I first initially did my film study on him when we drafted him. I saw a lot of times where he didn't make tackles and then run support, but today he was a tackling machine. Overall, I thought the defense did a pretty good job, in certain situations, just keeping everything in front of you when, as soon as Russell Wilson dumps it off, just come up and make the tackle. But, um, I might have missed that. Let me know what you guys think. My guy, Raiders Resistance, what is good to you? Salute my Cubano Alex. What is good? Good to see you in the building. For anybody that has not done so, make sure to subscribe to his channel. He also has, he's very active on social media, And then also, too, I always forget, I never plug my social media, but follow me at Raider Alex Official. I mean, typically I always do a lot of collab posts with Raiders Resistance, our guy Digital Press, but yeah, I definitely like to post a lot of memes and stuff on Instagram. But I mean, let me see what else I could talk about. Um, but I mean, if let me know what you guys think. Is there anything you guys want to touch on? I mean, I essentially touched on most of the points I wanted to get to in this game. I mean, like I said, the Raiders are 1-0. A very big victory for us moving forward. If we would have lost this game, it was going to be an uphill battle because Buffalo. I mean, I see it very difficult for us to beat them. Now, I will say a team like Buffalo, if you are gonna beat them, I think we have a very good advantage that we're playing them very early on in the season, week 2. For a couple different factors, that's good. For one, very likely it's not going to be a cold, windy, snowy type of game. Compared to if you would have faced them in December, late December, November, where typically teams like that, too, playoff contender teams, they typically start to they typically start to get a lot hotter, towards the end of the season, while once they get closer to the playoffs. But with a team like that, they might be a little bit rusty. So maybe the Raiders are able to shock the NFL and get an upset victory there. But I wouldn't expect it. After that, we got the Steelers, who I assume that's probably not going to be a very very easy matchup. Even though I didn't really keep up. Did they win their first game? Let me check right here. Let's see how the Steelers did. Steelers. What the hell? I can't find it on here. Anyways, but we got the Steelers, and after that, you got the LA Chargers. As I mentioned before, I mean, this defense is gonna have to step up. Yeah, they put over 30 points on the board, so definitely not an easy. For these next 3 games are definitely not going to be very easy. I mean, ideally, if we can get out of this stretch like 2-2, it wouldn't be that bad. It just we can't afford to go like 1-3 or something like that. He says Steelers look bad. I thought they would be good. Okay, who did they play? I don't know why I'm on ESPN, but it doesn't show. It doesn't come up the Steelers game. I thought they had lost just because I saw that there was a. Oh, it's right here. I'm missing it. Oh yeah, they got smashed against the 49ers 30-70, which I will say 49ers are a good team, but I mean, every year in the NFL, there's always teams that are supposed to be good and they don't live up to the hype. I mean, last year that was us. Maybe this year it's going to be the Steelers. We'll see. I mean, especially like their quarterback, he definitely doesn't scare me. I mean, last year that was a game we should have definitely won, but like I said, nobody cares about games you should have won and you ended up losing. This year's a little bit different. I will say, the Raiders showed me a little bit today. Not playing their best brand of football, but like I said, good teams find ways to win. It doesn't matter if what happens. It doesn't matter about injuries. It doesn't matter about things weren't going your way, you got to find a way to get the victory. And the Raiders were able to do that. It's going to be a very it's a good game for the locker room as well. So Kevin Lurker says Pittsburgh got spanked. Yeah, I mean, good riddance too. I don't really like the Steelers. So there was one play where the running back broke a long run down the sideline. I can't remember the running back. I do remember the one play. Yo, we got really lucky on this play. Philip Dorsett on the sideline. Like for a second too, like I saw that was Dorsett too. I mean, that's his main attribute is speed, and I saw he was like wide open on the sideline. I was like, oh, yo, I thought it might have been a touchdown, but yo, we are just so lucky that he wasn't. Basically, that he made a bonehead play himself. So the Raiders definitely got lucky on that play. Like I said, defense, a lot of things we can improve on moving forward. Lord Roshida says defensive players thought the running back step out, but he didn't. Need to be more heads up and play to the whistle. I feel like I probably remember, but on the top of my head, I can't remember which player you're talking about. The one I remember though is the Philip Dorsett one, which he was out of bounds. Like I said, we got very lucky, but yeah, I mean, definitely the team's gonna have to, you gotta play to the whistle, like you said. But Raider Nation, I mean, if that's, I think we're gonna basically wrap up this show. Like I said, the Raiders are 1-0. Good day to be a Raider. 1-0, just win, baby. With that being said, anybody that's new, I definitely saw a lot of new faces in here. Yo, if you haven't done so, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Not only that, make sure to hit the bell notification as well. That way you get notified every time I post videos just like this one. But Raider Nation, with that being said, we're going to be wrapping this up. And then, yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one too. I want to go more live, at least maybe like once a week or so during the regular season. I'll see probably what's the best format. Maybe probably do a post-game live every single week. But definitely stay in tune. Like I said, get that bell notification. That way you guys know when I get when I'm going live in the future. But until then, I will see you guys in the next one.
Jacobs is on his way. The Raiders are going to win this game.
By scores.
Then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.